Okay. All right. So let's start with just a quick landing in your body check-in. I've been having a lot of lower back pain, but it's because of the movement stuff that I'm doing. So I'm usually waking up in the morning and rolling around a lot. So I want to, for myself, just free it up a little bit. So I'm going to sit here, and as I'm checking in, I'm just going to move my tail. Like I'm on a physio ball, so it's very easy to wag my tail, but just letting some movement downward movement into my head tail connection down into my tail, giving it some freedom. If you're seated in a still or in like a non-moving ball, you can also let that ripple up through your body, just coming into a little bit of movement in your spine in whatever way feels good. So head tail connection. And as it's interesting, as I start to feel into that by moving my tail, I start to feel into my shoulders as well. So I feel like these different movement lines in my body that kind of cross from one side to the other, like hip to shoulder, hip to shoulder. So just becoming aware of that relationship, hip to shoulder, and all the possibilities of movement in those relationships. I talk so much about head tail, but there's so much more going on in there that we can relate to. And I had talked in the beginning of class about starting with this idea of heart and guts, which I want to get to, but I feel like maybe if we just let that shoulder to hip cross body relationship come online, so we feel this, then we are both moving through our hearts and our guts already, bringing them in. Yeah, it's like there's like a diagonal pattern moving through. And sometimes, like if you're having issues in one area, if you shift the way that you think about the patterning, it can just change the whole internal space of the area that you may be thinking about. So this could be on the floor or laying down or any way that you want, just feeling into that diagonal, allowing spiraling, lengthening, shortening, widening, narrowing, all of these different possibilities in to our torso. So it's kind of a tissue prep for what we're going to do with movement, micro movement, macro movement, tissue prep. And it can calm down into stillness. This relationship could be just happening in your mental image of your body or in physical sensation of your body. It doesn't have to be moving that much. Micro movement, macro movement, whatever feels best. Then I start to notice the holding that I have in my belly as I start to move this hip shoulder relationship. So inviting my gut body and my belly to start to soften and melt, and inviting this idea that our muscles don't need to hold it all together all the time. We can let ourselves be more fluid. So thinking of our body as these bodies of water that are in constant renegotiation of the inner space, constant fluidity and flow on multiple levels, right? Could be the blood flow, the extracellular matrix, the lymphatic flow, all of these things working together through our whole body, instead of thinking from sort of the bones and muscles so much. They're part of it, but they're not the main focus. And you could imagine kind of if you were like a water balloon or a jellyfish, imagining how would that movement happen in your body. So I guess we're going to go to gut first and then come up to heart afterwards, since for me, that's what's really coming online. And sometimes when I'm having this tightness in my lower back, I'm like, oh, what am I holding in my belly? What's going on the inside? So I'm going to take a hand on the front and a hand on the back. And this will be easier either seated or laying down on your back. We're going to do this gut body breath. And what it is you're going to have a little bit of spit in your throat. and you're going to kind of gurgle it. So it's kind of, I'm going to come in close to the camera so you can see. It's not with your vocal cords. It's just almost like you're gurgling your spit, but you're inviting the whole gut body, tongue to tail, to get into that fluid, juicy micro movement renegotiation of space. So from tongue to tail, all the way through your body, just using this gut body breath to invite freedom into our tissues. Babies do this. You see babies with their little bodies doing these little interior negotiations. So, like, especially very young babies, invite that movement in. They also drool a lot, right? So, we're getting that sort of spit happening in our throat, juiciness in our mouth. And if you need to drink water for that, go for it. I want to add that we're inviting in the expression of water in our bodies as if we are oceans, as if the inner body is the ocean. And even the ocean is affected by the tides of the moon. So we are in negotiation of being with the planet also. So letting that fluidity come in on a sort of cosmic, organic level that isn't a cultural human level so much. Inviting, inviting ripples and waves into your body. So feeling, when I think about how water moves, it's not moving in a linear manner. It's very spirally. There can be push and pull, but inviting that whole water sense of ocean body in. Ocean body, gut body having this freedom to move without the constriction of holding it all in like a human might in our culture, but being more like a jellyfish already in water, gurgling with the gut body. So I'm inhaling through my nose and just doing the gurgle on the exhale. And it's kind of like I'm just blowing little water bubbles in my throat. But as I do that, I'm inviting my jaw to free up, my neck and tongue to just take on a different way of being, more sort of pulsing with fluid life. You could think the whole digestive system. Within the digestive system, there's often this peristalsis going, and there's also sphincters where if food goes down, it can't come back up. So this whole system of movement, just getting more freedom to move. And I also want to invite that we shine the light of awareness and loving kindness on our digestive system, right? Whatever it is, it's doing its best. So, not being judgmental or blamey about what's going on in your digestive system. I'm going to take it down to the floor and keep going with that. You're doing your best. Allowing your movement to slow down. as much as feels good. And taking resting breaths whenever you need them. Just bring in the bubbling gurgle breath, gut body breath, whenever you need a little extra uh, inspiration for movement or awareness. It can also sound almost like a cat purring, inviting your nervous system to downregulate. Swallowing whenever you need to. Also listening into the wisdom in our guts, the gut feeling, the things that we know from the gut body. Freedom to move or not move. Allowing the gravitational pull of the earth to support you and to support the fluid in your body and the fiber in your body to form the most healthy inner body for you, so that as we move, we're teaching our body how to hold itself or how to form itself. We're teaching our fascia, we're teaching our bones. So inviting in enough down regulation that our system can very gently renegotiate the inner space in the highest good of our health. Allowing your guts to take up space, allowing your belly to take up space. I feel like so much of the learning that I have done in movement about my gut body has been about hold it in, hold it in. So what if I just let it go, let it stick out, let it take up space, not hold it in? Inviting my system to let go of any shame that I feel, just composting that, letting it go. Yeah, all the things around the pelvis also. It's not just gut body. We have the reproductive organs and the sexual organs. So letting any shame about that also go, right? If something's holding tightly in my ovaries, maybe I can just relax, letting go. Looks like there's a lot to work with there. But I do want to come into the heart as well. So without entirely leaving the gut body, just bringing in humming. And the hum is going to naturally work. If we hum and then inhale through our nose, it stimulates the production of nitric oxide, which is a vasodilator, really healthy for the cells inside of our heart and inside of our blood vessels, our whole vascular structure. So the humming acts as a antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, and it is also an like low pressure, helps lower our blood pressure by creating more space. So I'm going to bring in the humming for the heart. And also like in the chakras, that's like the hum, or the whom in the sound syllable for that area is yum. So we can hum with yum, the yummy hum for our hearts and our gut body, right? Yummy gut body, yummy heart. So I'm kind of layering systems in the way that I teach, and maybe other people have learned different systems or different ways of working with any system. So feel free not to grasp too tightly onto any system, but let it be fluid, let it move with you, through you, for you. So it's not like there's just one right way to do everything. There's multiple ways, multiple different possibilities. Inviting in again that relationship of hip to shoulder, like that hip to shoulder relationship is going to move through our heart, it's going to move through our guts also. So inviting in that relationship of those proximal joints relating to each other. And you can go back and forth from the gut body breath to the hum, or just play with movement, or be still in your imagination, whatever feels good to you. I'm going to add music and let us just continue the exploration. Ambient Fields, Album 2, Song Number 1. And this can be taken in any way that feels good for you. Really listen to your own system, invite in your own intelligence, body, mind, harmony, getting those guts and the heart and our mind into coherence. receiving the wisdom of your own body. Inviting the exploration to come and go in whatever way feels interesting. So it doesn't have to be limited to one area, but letting yourself play, trusting that whatever you needed, whatever tools you needed have landed for you. Allowing your awareness really to sink into your inner body, into your heart, into your guts. And then allowing whatever wants to unfold to unfold. So it's not forcing or imposing anything on yourself, you're just allowing. Giving your body permission to take up space and to move. allowing any old messaging, cultural inhibitions, or messages or visual messages that you've received about what you should look or be like, or how your guts should be, or your belly, and just let that crack off and melt away. Let it go. Whatever idea you have of how you should look, how you should move your body, let that just melt away. Giving yourself freedom and permission to discover new ways of interbeing with yourself, interacting with yourself, moving with the body mind in this experience of being in the world, right? With everything else. Movement of your heart is moving through your whole body, the blood flow moving, pulsing through your whole body. And our hearts are radiating out like energetically, way, way beyond our bodies, interrelating with each other. I would say our hearts are also incapable of radiating bad shit to other people. I feel like whatever is being radiated out there from the heart is good and golden stuff. Because if the heart doesn't have the love power to radiate very far, it won't radiate very far. So whatever's radiating out there is the good stuff. It's the life force, it's the loving kindness, it's the vitality, it's the healthy energy. Oh, here's the pea pod. I just got a love note from my mom about taking the pie out of the oven when the buzzer goes off. It's very funny. Peapod and my mom came in together. Speaking of the love radiating, So it's coming up for me right now that I'm dedicating my practice to Rick Jarrow. Maybe just the heart work, I really want to reach towards him with that. And maybe for you, there's somebody in your life that you want to dedicate the heart work to, or the gut work to, or the body practice to. We are all connected. We all breathe the air. We all drink the water. We all live on this world together. With the trees, with the creatures, with the stones, with the clouds and the sun and the moon. Maybe trusting that the things we struggle with are tailor-made for us, for our experience in the world. Giving us a few minutes to process the processing in the silence of our own experience. Just going into open awareness or open movement, whatever feels good to you, whatever you need or want in this moment. Inviting in the idea. So yeah, that you can, even with your intention, just unblock any of the things in your system that might be blocking you. Often, if things shift very quickly, it can be very destabilizing. But sometimes we're really getting in our own way in our life. And so finding ways to become more coherent in your existence so that you're working in alignment with yourself, right? Body, mind, spirit, or head, heart, guts are in alignment. And the more that we can tune to listening to them, the easier it is to be in alignment. Doesn't mean that all the weird stuff doesn't still happen. Being alive means weird stuff is going to happen. It's part of the spice of life. But if we can be alignment like with ourselves or with ourselves, our CELLS and our SELVESs, if that can come into alignment, it's a lot easier to be in the world. And sometimes we have to go through periods of not being in alignment to get to the other side. Like we have to keep doing what we're doing until we're done doing it. I've certainly done that a lot in my life. So super duper compassionate for our own experience, right? Kindness for our own experience of being in the world.